Welcome back to How to Be a Better DM, the official podcast of Monsters.rent. I'm Justin Lewis.
And I'm Tanner Wayland.
And we are here to help you tell better stories for yourself and your players as you dungeon master sessions of D&D, Dungeons & Dragons. We'd like to give you some quick announcements. We actually have one before the show, and then after the show, if you want to stick around, we have some more announcements then as well. But first, let's talk about this. Tired of being alone? Are you tired of not having any of your players understand you? Are you tired of never truly belonging? Well, you're in luck. All you need to do is join the Guild. The Guild is a unique and exclusive experience that is only open to Dungeon Masters. It is a full community focused on helping ease your DMing burdens. Want to meet other DMs? Join the Guild. Want to discuss your homebrew ideas with people who would appreciate it instead of just telling your cat? Join the Guild. Want to find a place where all your wildest dreams will come true? Join the Guild. Go to monsters.rent/guild and sign up today for free. Wait, that can't be right. Chuck, can you check this again? Is this supposed to be... What? Oh, they're serious? It's free? Oh, okay. All right. Yes, go to monsters.rent/guild and sign up today for free, even though they are crazy for giving this away for free. Common side effects may include burping, sneezing, laughing, breathing, hearing, listening, tasting, farting, critting, sarcasm, and in extreme cases, explosive diarrhea. Awesome. With that out of the way, we can get into today's show. You find yourself creeping through a dark hallway. You've left your companions outside so you could come in and do the dirty work. Your friends always let you take care of the unsavory elements of your work. You're okay with that. You've been okay with that all your life. You creep through the dark hallway. You stop. You slink into the shadow of a large pillar. You see a guard walk by. He continues on his way. You let him pass and then continue. Finally, you find the door. You open it up slowly and walk in. You've been creeping around for most of your life. Sneaking into forbidden places always seemed too easy for you. You approach the bed to finish the job. It's then that you notice something's wrong. The body on the bed lays lifeless. You notice green spittle leaking out of the man's mouth. Dead. Poisoned. That's a problem. Who could have killed him? That's when you hear the guard shouting, "Intruder! Intruder! The king's been murdered!" The king? You came to murder the king's advisor, but the king was also murdered? That's when you realize you need to get out of here. Fast. So what would you like to do? Welcome back to the 19th episode of How to Be a Better DM. As always, I'm your host, Justin Lewis, and I'm here to help you create better stories as you and your friends play D&D 5e. As a DM, the hardest part of getting a campaign going is finding a group of people that have time and are willing to play on a reasonably periodic schedule. After that, there's another challenge that isn't talked about enough: guiding your players to choosing the right character for them. Not every player will like every class. It's a simple fact. So your job as a DM is to help them find the right choice for themselves, or at least avoid wrong choices. So let's start off this whole discussion talking about who should not choose to play as a rogue. Number one, if you want to play lawful good. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be a lawful good rogue, but what I am saying is that most rogues aren't. Add to that the fact that most skills that a rogue gets are of the underhanded and secretive nature. Generally, a rogue fits naturally into the chaotic alignment, good, neutral, or evil, and avoids the lawful disposition. I suppose you could make a really cool story that involves a rogue that is lawful good, or lawful neutral or evil, but generally for newbies, if you are trying to follow all the rules and laws, then a rogue might not be the best choice. So number two, if you love armor, rogues don't generally get heavy armor. I suppose you could use feats to allow yourself to be fully armored, but unless you have some sort of magic ability to avoid having disadvantage on stealth rolls, that might not work to your advantage. Now, I know armor is somewhat of a small consideration when you're building out your character, but in case that's a deal breaker for you, don't pick a rogue. Number 3, if you want to be the star of combat. In combat, the rogue either does a huge amount of damage, or a moderate amount, or none. Rarely will you bear the brunt of damage yourself or deal the lion's share of the damage. Instead, as a rogue, you'll enjoy darting in and out over and over again, doing sneak attack damage when you can, finding cover, disengaging, using a lot of movement. You're going in and out. That's kind of the idea of the rogue. Fast action and harrying maneuvers. You're not going to be standing there in front of the giant earth elemental getting hit by its giant maul. That's just not going to happen. Number 4 is casting spells. If you want to cast all the spells, a rogue is not for you. Now, there is a roguish archetype, Arcane Trickster, that allows you to cast certain spells, but that is severely limited compared to some of the other spellcasters. If you are mostly excited about playing D&D and casting Fireball or Wish, then you're going to want to choose a different class. Number 5, if you don't like sneaking. Everyone sneaks. That's just happens in D&D. The whole party's going to do it. But generally, the rogue is the person the group turns to first when stealth is a necessity. If someone needs to sneak into somewhere, usually it's the rogue. And I'm not saying that's how you have to play, but I am saying people will probably expect that of your character. So if you don't like stealthing, then maybe you should choose a paladin or a barbarian. There are my 5 guidelines for who should not play a rogue. 1, if you want to be lawful good. If you love armor, that's 2. 3, if you love being the star of combat. 4, if you like casting spells. And 5, if you don't like sneaking. Hopefully that helps you steer your player away from a rogue character that they won't like that much, and hopefully towards another character that they enjoy much more. But make sure you let your players do what they want, because truly, all of these are more guidelines than rules, and you can still do all of them and be a rogue and be very successful and have a lot of fun. You know, they can be, your players can be any character they like, and that is literally one of the best things about D&D. So you just need to be their guide and their shepherd to help them reach a fun character choice for them. Thank you guys for listening to today's episode. Next week, we're going to talk about who should play a rogue. So come back next time, listen to that episode. Don't forget to follow the show and leave a rating and review. That is just a good way to support the show. And also a heads up, I'm getting a Patreon ready with some extra goodies and such. So get ready for that. And hopefully that is to your liking. Don't forget to reach out to me on Instagram at Geronimo Levis with any questions, concerns, or ideas you have about the show. As always, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate your support. Let's make this thing awesome, big, and adventurous. We'll see you next week for another great episode. Until then, my friends, let's roll initiative. Thank you for listening to today's show. We really appreciate your support and your patronage. We have a few more announcements to go over. First,
did you ever fall in love with the library as a kid? It was a place where you could experience 1,000 stories without having to buy 1,000 books. That is what Monsters.rent can do for your D&D campaign. You can rent and swap out as many quality miniature monsters and creatures for your D&D party as you could ever want, without having to buy them. You can rescue villagers from a kobold camp, or lead your party through the fighting forest, or many more adventures. We're coming out with new bundles all the time. Just sign up for our subscription to get access to your own personal library of minis. Go to monsters.rent to find out more. That's the website. Monsters, with an S, .rent. Get your library pass to a world of minis today.
We also wanted to let you know that today's episode is sponsored by Stardust and Dragons. I'm going to let one of the cast of Stardust and Dragons, Christian Hatcher, and his crew tell you a little bit more about it.
This August, A new adventure podcast is coming to a platform near you, filled with action,
You one of the two of them. We can't keep taking hits like that.
drama,
Everything that she's been doing, everything she's going to do, finally sets in.
and stardust.
Help! Help! Someone, please!
Find out more about this epic odyssey at stardustanddragons.com, where adventure awaits in the stars.
That's all the announcements we have today. Again, thank you so much for everything you do for us. You make this show possible. Like we said before, we'll be back next week with another great episode, and until then, let's go ahead and roll initiative.